Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Second Cup of Coffee. Pastor Tom here with you. So excited that you would join us. We're starting a new series here in the month of November, and the title of the series is 11. 11. Obviously, November is the 11th month, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. We're going to kind of launch off this morning, kind of explaining to you what that means. I chose the number 11 because there came a point when there was only 11 disciples. We'll talk about this a little bit as we walk through, but Judas hung himself after betraying Jesus. And so if you look around the table, there's an empty chair. And that's a hard reality for many people. And because of death or because of divorce or because of conflict and separation, this is a time of year where we start to gather as families, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. We call it the holiday season. And when there's an empty chair, it can be very unsettling. It can be disappointing. It can hurt. And I think these are things that the disciples walk through. Yeah, Judas betrayed Jesus. I get that. Yes, he was embezzling money. But at the end of the day, Jesus had sent them out as disciples 2 by 2. So somebody was his partner when they went out 2 by 2. These guys knew each other really, really well. And so I think that if we look at it from the humanity aspect of it, that's a lot to lose. And when there's nobody in the chair, and especially because of the way that his life ended, man, it could be hard to overcome that. And I wrote this note: people make traumatic choices. That was a traumatic choice that he made to betray Christ, a traumatic choice he made to end his life the way that he did. And here we are as those who are left trying to pick up the pieces. And you kind of see it as kind of an analogy. He goes to he feels remorseful, and he goes and he tells the chief priest, look, I don't want to be part of this. You're condemning, and it's innocent blood, or whatever he says. And they're like, what is that to us? And he gets in this place where I bet you he felt hopeless. There's no way out, and they won't even take the money back. And he throws it in the temple, and I just kind of see it scattering everywhere. And maybe you feel like maybe it wasn't by death or wasn't but maybe just by broken relationship. There's an empty chair at your table this year, and you feel like I'm holding the pieces, and this is really weighty, and what do I do? What do I do? I remember that when my parents divorced and my dad left, my mother made a very good decision. It was very significant. I didn't realize it at the time, but I realize it now. She decided, I'm not going to say anything bad about your dad, and we're going to pray for him every night. Give me some scriptural reference for that, Pastor, okay? James wrote in the book that he wrote in the first chapter. Now, James is the brother of Jesus. He wasn't a disciple. I don't know how much direct interaction he had with Judas, but he was directly impacted by these traumatic choices because it was his brother, Jesus, who was betrayed. It was his brother, Judas, betrayed, and then ultimately it was his brother who was crucified. And he says in the first chapter of his book, count it all joy when you face trials or fall into trials of many kinds. So what do I do when there's an empty chair at my table? When there's supposed to be 12, but there's only 11, this is what I want to encourage you to do. Thank God for the other chairs that are filled. Thank God for the pieces of that person that you can draw out that were good, that brought life, that brought benefit. Count it all joy, because you may not be able to count that empty chair as joy yet, but that doesn't mean there aren't other blessings around the table or in your life that you can count as joy. So, start here. Every day when you wake up, before you get out of bed, I want you to do two things. Number one, put on the full armor of God. And number two, before anything comes out of your mouth, Tell God thank you. I've been doing this, and it has been working a revival in my life to look up at God and say, God, the first thing I want you to hear this morning is thank you. But Pastor, you don't understand. You're right, and I don't understand what you're going through or what they went through. But what I do understand is where their lives ended up, fulfilling the fullness of the purposes of God in their life, full of joy, impacting the world. That could be us as well. But let us start in this place of thankfulness. There may only be 11, but we're grateful for the 11 that are there and all that God has done and all that God will do. Even if we can't be thankful for the empty chair this year, we're going to count it joy, and we're going to count our blessings, and we're going to trust Him for what He wants to do in the future. If this means something to you, share it. Find us on Facebook, find us on our app, find us on Instagram or our YouTube page. Please like our YouTube page. And again, if this meant something to you, it might mean something to somebody else. But at any rate, we're so grateful that you would hang out with us, and we'll talk to you soon.